What's up YouTube? We are back with another Fortnite video. So in this video what I plan on going over is how to counter the aggressive players. So kind of like aggressive players would be just W King boxes, so like when you're in arenas and you're just sitting in a box and they start to just W key you. And yeah, I just kind of want to go over how you can counter these guys and what you should do in a sense once they break into your box, as well as how to stop them from breaking into your box. Now obviously it's almost impossible to stop a player from breaking into your box, as ping plays a huge part in this. So the higher ping you have, the harder it's going to be to hold walls against someone that has a lower ping. Some of the things you can do to turn around fights, as well as when it's okay to push out of your turtle and when you should stay turtled. So first of all, what exactly is turtling for those of you that might be new players and don't know? So turtling is just when you sit up in a little box, a little one by one, kind of like this. So, or it would be like this. This is when you're turtling, right? Typically, you could have a one by one, or you have like a tower of one by ones. You'd be sitting at the top, and someone with a grappler would just W key in with their Midas drum gun, and yeah. So I guarantee you that a lot of you have been in situations like that, but I hopefully with this video can help you guys learn how to counter-aggress the aggressive players. So first of all, if you find yourself in a box like this, so 99.9% of what I see happening is when people get their walls taken, they just try to sit here with a shotgun. What you should always do if someone takes your wall is you should place down a ramp. Now, if you sit in this ramp, let me do that again because it glitched me out of it. But if you sit in this ramp, okay, I don't know why it's not doing it. Okay, if you sit in this ramp, see how it's gold for me? So this means that it's not a full build yet, and you can still kind of see through it. So if you can see your opponent on this side, and you know that they're going to edit, once they edit, you can shoot and then jump, and your ramp will be solid. They're not going to be expecting that, unless they know that unless they're a decent player, they will know that the ramp isn't fully built yet. So if, say, I'm sitting in here, some other player takes this wall from me, the second he takes that wall, not giving it any time, I'm going to place that ramp and then start tracking where he's at. So if he's over here, I'm going to track, wait for that edit, and then when he edits, I'll jump up so that way my ramp gets solid. I'll build above him, and then if he's still there, I'll edit down and look for that kill. That's typically what I do in situations in box fights and whatnot when it comes to being aggressed, because 90% of players, especially when you're in solos or solo squad or just doing squads in general or even duos, a lot of them aren't going to be paying attention to the ramp inside of their box, you know. This also stops people from doing the Mongrel Classic on you by placing in your own ramp, and by Mongrel Classic I mean doing this and then edit the ramp and then they shoot. So that's what I mean by Mongrel Classic. So that placing your own ramp in there stops people from doing that, which is honestly a really good method to kill people. But like I said, placing your own ramp in here at all times once they take your wall is a really good thing. Unless they take your ramp and then unless they like take your wall and place a ramp in before they get their wall. But we'll also go over situations like that. So say you are not turbo building your wall, or you're turbo building your wall, but when they break it, they get a ramp inside of your box. So you'll still hold your wall, just hold down the turbo build on the wall, and then right when they let their guard down, jump on their ramp, edit out the top, and then do the same thing as earlier. More than likely, you're going to catch them off guard. If you look down and you see they're watching right before you edit, don't do the edit, and then just build up higher and box up again. Or you can make another play to... it's 100% based on what they're doing. So primarily, if they're sitting out here, right? My ramp should be that way. More than likely, people are going to be like this trying to break into your box, right? They're going to have a ramp behind them like this. Your good players, they will be boxed up, so they're not getting third-partied. Some of them will have their box open, so just in case you try to like jump out at them or whatever, they can just jump up and reset the edit. That didn't work for me. They can just jump up, reset the edit, and then they're safe. But most 90% of them will be boxed in and trying to take your walls. So when they take your wall, and you should again place that ramp. So they'll edit, you'll track, you'll get a free shot before they can shoot you. So the second you see that edit confirm, shoot them, and then jump up because they won't be able to shoot you through the ramp. That's a really good way to stop yourself from getting shot from inside the box. So primarily what you should always be watching for when someone's trying to break into your box, right when you're about to go over them, I'm not saying you should always go towards the side that they're going to be on, because more likely they will wall. If they're a good player, they will wall you in, and then they won't be able to do anything. Or what they'll do is they'll hear that first edit, they'll back up, pull out their shotgun, pop you, and then place a wall. So it would look something kind of like this. What they're going to do, and then they have control over the fight again. So again, that's something you really have to judge based on the player's skill, how good the player is. If the player is a really good player, then that's probably not a move that you want to make. If the player is a really good player, you're probably just going to want to edit out to the side, create another box, especially if they take your wall. Just create another box, and then keep branching off. So like, you just want to try to create as much room as possible to make it seem so that way it's harder for them to find the box, especially if you need to res up. You can just create a box and then sit underneath of a cone inside of it to res up. And if they start breaking into your roof and they get your roof, just edit out the bottom and then create another cone or create another box underneath of you. This way you're continuously moving as they're moving. It's going to waste a lot of mats, but if you can get the frag kill, then those mats that you use for this, you'll more than likely have to get back off of that person. If you continuously turtle, most people will leave you alone. Especially when it comes into like arenas and whatnot, people will leave you alone if you just continuously turtle. Because like I said, they see it as a way of you wasting mats. If you continue to turtle, it gives a chance for another person to third party. In most situations, you do want more people to third party. Just to kind of alleviate pressure off of you. So realistically, if you're getting pushed by a really good player, you want someone to third party. Now, 9% of the time, you really don't like people third partying, but this is one of those many situations that you do want someone to be third partying, because it's going to alleviate pressure off of you and make it a lot harder for them to just hard focus on you if they have someone else pushing them. So with that being said, we're going to go over the next one. So we'll box back up here, a little slow, but I'm not trying to go fast, I'm just trying to explain. So the next tip I'd like to really get into is if someone's breaking into your box. This is another, actually I guess it's just kind of like a tee off of what we were talking about just then. So say someone gets my cone up top, right? They have my cone and I'm holding my floor. So the second they get my floor, I'm going to edit out of my bottom floor. If I have a ramp through there, I will edit out through my bottom ramp. So this is for, say, like someone that has a higher ping than you, and you're holding, and then all of a sudden they get it. So if you're sitting here on a ramp, right, you're just going to edit out the bottom and reset your edits as fast as you can. PC players do have kind of an advantage with the scroll wheel edit at this point, because they can reset their edits a little bit faster than console players. But like I said, if they take both, you just want to edit out the bottom and reset, and then box up again, and then try to branch out. This, like I said, this is if you're going up against really good players, but you can't always be boxing either. You do have to look for opportunities that you can take to get kills on them. So another thing that you could do in that situation, if they're on top of your box, is you could edit the floor out behind you until you're looking at this wall, drop it, and then edit this, jump, and then ramp over them like this. So this is just like a side jump out of your box, and then you ramp over the top of them. What you could do as well in this situation, I've seen players like Booga, they do this quite a bit actually. It works very, very well. Let me break those builds down if I can. But players like Booga, they do this a lot. But it is when you're inside of the box, right, and they go to back out of it, right? Once they do their little ramp, instead they'll cone their opponents here, So basically what this allows them to do is it allows them to get piece control on the person that's below them. So with a ramp it's the same thing, but this just allows them to manipulate their cone to go in whichever direction that they need to go. I just missed that ramp. But this just allows them to manipulate their cone into whichever direction that they want to go. Whereas a ramp, you still can go to the sides and whatnot, but if you wanted to say, if you wanted to make like a little corner peak here, you could with a floor. You couldn't do that with a ramp. If you do a ramp, you're pretty much exposing yourself completely. That's why cones are quite useful, or you can use it to do a high ground retake if they start building back to the other side. A lot of the times what you'll find yourself doing at this point, if you don't have a good advantage, is if they're breaking into your box, you'll go up like that, and then you'll build the box, and then you'll just box up again. And then you just rinse and repeat the steps basically. So this is pretty much the baselines on whether or not they're building into your box, what you should do in a sense if they are breaking into your box. So let's get into a little bit more here on how to win trades more. Okay, so things that I see a lot of mistakes on certain players that are W King or that are like less experienced with W King is they will sit here with a ramp, right? Hold on, let me redo that. They'll sit here with a ramp trying to break in, but they'll completely forget about this side and that side. What you could do at this point, if you have a ramp here, you could edit out, go for a shot, and then just floor above yourself. I didn't do that the best, but this is a very effective way to stop people from breaking your box. This gets you a little bit more. You could also do it to the side, so you could jump and take a shot and then land on a floor right there. I missed the floor, but that's a very good way to do it. You're just trying to look for ways to get yourself the advantage. So any way possible that you can find to hit like a peak shot or something on them. The only problem with these sideways over here are that you're very confined to what you can do. You can only hit certain shots. You don't have full access to the ramp unless you jump out really far, but then you risk not being able to place your floor and then you falling down out of the build fight. Because this could work if you're really low on the ground, if you just fall to the ground after you jump and side jump. But 90% of the time, or you might find yourself up in the air, like say you're on like a mountain or something fighting in last zone. This would not be an optimal opportunity for you to take because, like I said, you risk falling to your death at that point, and that's not what this video is about, is teaching you to fall to your death. If you don't have a ramp in your box, you could edit out to the side, surprise, right? And then wall up, and then box, and then you have the advantage. And at that point, this is introductory level stuff, so this is something that probably wouldn't work against your better players because they're gonna know. This is for probably like just not arena matches, but it's just to get you guys more well versed with box fighting. Now, something you could do that I have seen Booga do is you could edit here and then cone them so that way they can't go anywhere, and then you could box one side, right? Well, no, that probably wouldn't be the best, but coning them at the top, that's a very widely used thing. So when you cone them at the top, this gives you the advantage. You could do this too if you have your own cone up there. So let's actually do that example. So we'll get rid of this cone up here. So we got rid of that cone. So we could do this even with our own cone. You just edit out the two sides and then place your own cone there. This stops them from going up as you're going up. They would have to side jump your cone. In a way that you could side jump if you expect them to be side jumping is just to build to the side that they're going to be side jumping to and try to piece control yourself so you can get their walls. So you could be building above them, go for a shot, you know. You could do like Tfue classic jump shoot, you know. stuff like that. Anything that you can do to get yourself the edge. Um, say if you find yourself in a situation with a player, and say they tag you for like 150 HP or whatever, you have enough for like minis. Like I said, you should definitely box up, try to get your minis on before you try to fight them. Also, before you met up, make sure that everything around you is yours. If you guys saw my Twitter post from yesterday, then you'll understand what I'm talking about here. Because this guy made a mistake on sitting on top of me while he popped a big shield, and I edited him down and one pumped him. So, like I said, you should make sure that all builds around you are yours before you try to do anything. Um, as for, let's see, so how about, so say that this play right here, when you put your ramp here, they still end up tagging you, but you miss because they catch on to the ramp. So if they catch onto the ramp, more than likely they're not going to edit, and they'll start to build up on top of you. So at this point, you still have advantage, right? So here you have the advantage because you have the roof and the cone above you. So say instead they have this wall. You should never edit this ramp to get, so like if I edit like this and then I try to edit out this side, they have the advantage, if they were to notice that, to drop down and edit here and then pump me. So I'm never going to edit this ramp to give them advantage. I'm never going to like drop it like this and then edit out, because still right here, if they were to read that fast enough, could pump you. They could pump you through that hole, you know? They could edit a window and they could pump you through that. So you always want to keep your ramp edited in a direction that they don't have the advantage on you. So if I have it like this, I'm always going to edit it back and then edit out this side. Now, there's still a small gap that they could hit me right there, but it's very unlikely. To be able to stop them from doing that, you can edit like this. They have zero gap to be able to edit. Now, they could, if they realize this, they could go down and stop, but the idea behind this is when you edit this ramp, they don't know which wall you're going to go out of, right? So they hear you edit this ramp on the inside, you could drop down, you could drop out this back window, you could go out this side, you could even just sit here. You know, they really don't know what's going to happen. There's not a whole lot that they can do to beast control you at this point. So kind of what I would do, I would build out, and I would build a ramp or a floor above you at this point. So that way when you run out, you can quickly switch to your walls here and build your wall before you give them the opportunity. So when you edit like this, you could even edit like this and then build your walls the second that they give you a chance. So bang, bang. See how I can build both my walls here? They're both white, so that means I can place them. Even though they're already built, I can still place walls here because they're white. They're highlighted. And now that just gave me an advantage to where I can build ramps out to the side with turbo build. And then you could, if they're reading that, if they're not reading that as well, you could go for a free pump. Like I said, it's 100% situational. You could half drag, go for a pump and reset. Same thing with the other way. But 100% is situational. I'm trying to give you guys more options based on situations that I feel like would be useful at this point. So let's talk a little bit more about piece controlling people and what it really means, right? So say you're building up on someone, right? And you have a ramp here and they walk on top of this cone. What you can do is with your cone, okay, you can hit that and then you can box them in. I just turbo build a floor up there, which I don't know how that worked, but you can, I was supposed to build that floor right here, but anyways, you can edit this out and then you can, with your shoddy out, right, you can hit this, reset, drag, go for a pump, or you can hit an edit like this and pump. Now, another thing that's very useful in this situation is when you're box fighting someone, most people are going to be expecting you to place a ramp. Now, a lot of the times what you can do is place a pyramid and then take a quick shot on them, so that way they're expecting you to place a ramp, right? So instead, you place a pyramid. This gives you a little bit more usability of your pyramids, gives you a little bit more room to edit. So you could edit them down like this, and then pop this corner and pump and reset. 100%, like I said, it's all up to. You could even like come over here and edit your pyramid and drop in, and then so when you drop in, pump, and then R, and then reset this tile, so that way they're back under there. But it really depends on your shots. If you know that they're weak, this would be a prime opportunity to get your last finish off, because they're not going to be expecting it. If it's a good player, they're more than likely going to be expecting it. They're reading you properly. But if you're sitting like here, they might expect you to edit this corner back down for the final pump. But instead, if you just switch your body, if you just switch where your body's at when you're right here to right here, you can go for a quick pump. So cones are very useful in that situation. So are ramps. Ramps are also very useful in that situation. So say you are in a box and there's someone right there on your box. You can edit a ramp using an L edit. So what you can do with this L edit is, right, you can sit here, and then if you scroll wheel reset while aiming at your opponent, you have a free shot on them. So using these L edits is a very good way to do it. But you can't be at the very top of the L edit. So like you saw me just do right here, if I'm up here, I'm still going to be on top of the ramp. Now that'd be a pretty good way to fake someone out as well. If you could reset this, because if a good player is watching, they're going to be expecting you to drop down onto them. But you could L edit and then drop onto them this way. It all depends on how fast you are with your stair edits and how fast you are with editing in general. Whether or not you're able to pull it off or not. Another thing that we should probably talk about is dealing with sweats and people that have RPGs when you're in a box. So actually the person who I learned this from was TSM Canada. He does a really good job with it, but it's called ramp switching. So in his gameplay of the FNCS Invitational, we saw when he was low ground that he was getting RPG'd, and he did a 180 ramp flip to block that RPG damage. So the faster you are at 180 ramp flips, the better off you're going to be. So this is one thing that you should always practice, is flipping ramps. A way I recommend it is flipping ramps to one side to the other, and then flipping them to another side as quick as possible. So that way you're getting used to that swing motion. It really is just a swing, basically. Like if you rock your hand underneath, like a swinging motion, so like you're doing like a U, like you're drawing a U, it's very useful. That's a very useful way to do ramp switches. Like I said, these are very useful late game when you're doing box fighting. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really hope you guys do enjoy. We'll be bringing a little bit more Fortnite content, or a bunch more Fortnite content, I guess, because I'm going to start uploading more on my progress here in the next couple of days. So I want to thank everyone for watching this video, and remember to like, comment, subscribe for more content, and